My nose is really good. Okay, right straight out.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. There's like, tell me if there's like weird smudges on my glasses. No, you're good. All right,
I
good.
think you're good. Would you please state your name and position on the team for the camera?
Yeah, I'm Matt Ryla, and I'm a firmware writer and safety enthusiast on the team.
My name is Shane Total, and what am I in this team? I'm technically a CNS advisor, but I really act as like a kind of just like a lone wolf, jack of all trades type. I consider myself.
I'm Joel Roberts. I'm the race crew captain. I'm also currently I'm kind of in between mechanical lead and director of engineering. So.
Well, I'm Jack Vogel, and I'm the, one of the motors people on the team. So I do motors things.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tori Sigfrid, and I am the battery lead of U of M SVP.
Mitchell, and I do brakes things.
Well, how do you think race is going so far?
Race is going horribly.
You know, not everything has quite gone to plan.
Race is pretty excellent.
Race is going, I don't know, do you want a little drama? No.
The car is delayed. We won't see it until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And for some context, it's Friday today. However, we're having a blast.
People are still having fun, which is, I guess that's what's important.
We're a half block from the ocean. We're across the street from an amazing bakery.
We've had some challenges, but the vibe is good, and I think people are doing their best despite the logistical challenges.
I had a double-baked blueberry and almond croissant today. It was delicious.
But we're finding ways to keep ourselves busy.
Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go for the raspberry and chocolate shake. I've already planned it out.
A lot of painting, a lot of building a trailer, a lot of physical labor.
This is going to be the best goddamn trailer that any team has ever seen and ever will be constructed. And you can quote me on that.
I went for a couple long walks. I think I'm gonna play some soccer tonight. So I'm gonna have a great time.
Yeah, it's really pretty here. I feel like I'm on vacation, which could be a bad thing because we do not have the car yet, and I'm slowly getting antsy to work on it because as battery, we have a lot to do.
I know things are going to start moving really fast once we get the car. Right now, we're kind of just like sitting back, relaxing a little bit. I think, we're going to have a couple more days while we're waiting for the car still. We'll be able to, relax a little bit, get some work done on the trailer and on the Vantry. But I think once we get the car, things are going to start moving really, really fast. We're going to have a ton of work to do to get it ready to drive, and then we're going to be kind of skedaddling it up to the Outback, do some test driving on the road. So it'll be pretty fast paced.
I'm sure it would be great to have the car too. We expected the car to come in and meet us in Melbourne. It was being shipped over from the States. We had shipped it sometime in July, anticipated its arrival shortly after our arrival in Melbourne. We believed that it would go through customs and go through quarantine all while we were in Melbourne. However, the car did not make it to Melbourne. In fact, overshot Melbourne and made its way to Adelaide without our knowledge. We had to scramble, find some Airbnb in Adelaide before we expected to be there, before we had planned on being there. We still had to wait for the car for a few days. It was frustrating not to be able to work on the car. There was a lot of work still to be done on the car. Pretty much we had the car for 1, maybe 2 days before we had to book it up through the Outback and perform a few days of testing in southern Australia.
So I was part of Group B, so I showed up a little bit later than everyone else. I arrived in Adelaide and immediately we started going up to Darwin, so we started test driving. and working on the car at various campsites.
Then we started driving north. We spent a couple days test driving on the Stewart Highway, which is the actual route of the race. So we got a little time to actual practice, maybe a little bit like what we'll be experiencing in a day on race.
Now we've been at the track for about a week. It's been constant car work, test driving, trying to get out all of the bugs that we've had in battery and other systems.
Been working on the car every day at the garage, which is on the racetrack. We're in the paddocks. Yeah, we're cruising. A lot of little issues coming up here and there, but every day team members are stepping up, fixing what needs to be fixed.
I've been helping debug some of the battery management system. We've been having a lot of issues with our low voltage bus line.
Additionally, I've been fixing up some of the wiring on the low voltage bus and helping out with some protective measures for our like wire harness as well too.
And some of the other various PCBs throughout the battery system, and also working on some of our strategy. And I've been working a lot on harnessing of the electrical lines, both in the battery and just in the car in general.
I've been doing a fair bit of work just kind of with the battery electrical team, helping them get stuff put together.
I've mainly been working on interior and just helping out with many miscellaneous things on the car.
Preparing the car for scrutineering, which happens on Monday. Today is Saturday, so we've got pretty much one more full day to get things buttoned up before we go and show our car to the scrutineers.
Yesterday we had our first day of scrutineering. Scrutineering went really well. We had a few things that we needed to fix afterwards. For those who don't know, scrutineering is basically the race officials looking at your car and saying, yes, this is safe, yes, this meets all the race regulations. And they have to do that with every car that's in the race before it's allowed to drive.
Are you ready? Ooh! Ah! All right, let's go.
The start line in Darwin was nerve-wracking for most team members. System checks were being performed until the very last second. We had spent our time in Darwin working ourselves to exhaustion to prepare the car for the start line and the kilometers that came after it. We were careening towards the culmination of our years of tireless unpaid labor. This was the moment when the intangible and distant concept of race became real life. Every member of every team, every adult and child in the crowd, and every race official was watching for that checkered flag to be waved. It signified the beginning of a 3,000-kilometer journey that would take us through the heart of the Australian outback. Personally, I was preparing myself for a week of beans, flies, and unrelenting sun, and that is exactly what I got. Our Airbnb hosts encouraged us from the side of the road in Darwin and waved the American flag as we drove by. The first day involved a lot of overtaking so that we could let Gaia stretch her legs on the open road without being slowed down by other teams. Stage 1 actually went surprisingly well for us. We were able to successfully keep pace with the expected winner and hometown favorite Sunswift throughout the entirety of Stage 1. However, we also knew that Stage 1 would be the easiest stage to complete and had our eyes and strategy teams set on Stage 2. This was the make or break stage for everyone, and we all knew it.
So we're on day 3. We passed the halfway point today, just south of Alice Springs, which is like the one town kind of in the middle of the desert. We're halfway through the race. We've crossed, loud truck. We've crossed the highest point we're gonna cross, so it's technically all downhill from here. We're right kind of in the middle of stage 2, so there's one more day in stage 2 tomorrow. Stage 2 is the longest and hardest stage. We had a good day today with very, very minimal problems. We made great time and good mileage. We're neck and neck with the first place team, and we're all really thrilled and excited to be here. We still got our work cut out for us tomorrow. We got to finish this stage strong and make sure we can make it there with a little bit of gas left in the tank. Friendly Italians. But yeah, we're doing great. We're super psyched to be where we're at, and everybody's having a great time. So yeah, stage 2 was the toughest stage already. We all kind of knew that going into it and knew it was going to be really tight. And then we found out a few days ago there was going to be a headwind of approximately 25 kilometers per hour that would hit us just past Alice Springs, so like halfway through the stage. And the other teams presumably figured that out too, and nobody finished the stage because, just to put it in reference, that's cost us roughly 10 kilowatt hours of extra energy that it would take to complete the stage with this headwind versus no headwind, and we were not prepared for that. We had a safety factor in place. It was not enough for this very, very brutal wind. So we trailered, which was kind of a bummer. We really were hoping to finish the route, but we had to trailer because we ran out of power. However, every other cruiser class team also had to trailer, most of them a lot further back than us. So it's not very clear in the regulations exactly what this means for the rest of the race. We're just looking to find out. Can you do something?
So at any time, we can lead you down to the drive-in. You can take all your support cars. So you drive down with a front and rear escort.
Okay.
We'll lead the way.
Okay.
And then you can bring all your other cars down.
Okay.
And set up just as you set up here, down there.
Okay.
So.
And there's
What do I do? Keep going, stop. Keep going, Jack. Keep going. Keep going, Jack. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going, Jack. Keep going. Keep going.
Hey, I'm Lisa. I'm from Adelaide, Australia, and 2023 marks the first year of me being an observer for the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. Coming into the challenge, I didn't fully understand what an observer's role was. We were given lots of information and told that our role would be to follow the teams and obviously observe what they were doing. But it wasn't until we were allocated the teams last Saturday night that we get an explanation of what we would be doing, and we were given a logbook, and our task was to record every step of the journey for the teams. It's been an adventure. We started out in Darwin in the CBD and made our way down through Catherine. A few teams had issues, and if a team had an issue, it was my job to record it. Not my job to interpret any rules or regulations, so I couldn't give any advice on how a team should complete a task or fix an issue. I just had to be there to record what they were doing, and they were up to them to use their initiative to work it out. From there, we got to our first campsite, and all the teams that I've been allocated with have been super helpful and accommodating, offering meals, snacks, food, drinks all throughout the day. They've even offered to pitch a tent for me and provide me with sleeping gear. Being an observer has definitely had its challenges, because I think the normal human reaction is you want to help and you want to get stuck in with a team and assist them with what they're doing correctly and what they're doing wrong. But it's definitely been a challenge to try hold back and just watch from afar.
I feel like these guys have been pretty much sticking with us most of it.
Yeah, it's like they have.
It's because we're really been enjoying our car.
Yeah.
I think they kind of just fit the vibe of the team a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Are we getting ready to go?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, a lot of fun. Really good. I just like it. Yeah, and then I'm going to New York to return to present the second place award in the CSIRO Cruiser Class category. With 1,970 kilometres, providing an on-road score of 30.8 and a practicality score of 72.6, giving them a final score of 22.4. Second place in the CSIRO Cruiser Class goes to Minnesota.
this is my second race. My first one was ASC 22 last year, and it was the experience of a lifetime. And I'm hoping that this one's going to be the same way. And I know that it will, because we're on the other side of the world. We're further from home than I think almost all of us have ever been. Definitely for me, this is the first I've ever been from home, and it's wild. It's hard to capture just how crazy it is what we're doing, driving a solar car across the outback. It's not an experience many people will ever have in their life, so we're gonna make the most of it.
Chip the flint, light the fire, skin the kill. Feet move the tribe, track the herd with our will. Mankind struggles in the cellar of history. Time to settle down, time to grow, time to breathe. The soil, plants the seed, pray for rain. Scythe reaps the wheat to the mill to grind the grain. Towns and cities spread to empire overnight. Hands keep building as we chant the ancient rite. Coal heats the steam, push the piston. Turns the wheel, cogs spin the wall, drives the horses made of steel. Lightning harness does our will and lights the dark. Keep rising higher, set our goal, hit the mark. Make the tools, build the fire, plant the grain.